going. It's going. I'll share the YouTube thing so you can have it, and then I'll post it in Pen in the City.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, brilliant. Okay, well, I just hold on a second. I love streaming, but now I gotta pause this. It's going. It's going. All right, beautiful. So welcome I'll share the YouTube thing. Welcome to a Pen in the City. This is a gift. Oh, I paused it. Let me start over again. Pause the recording because I wanted my Pen members to see the class later. So Pen in the City is a creative writing group. It has artists, book lovers, it has cartoonists, playwrights, a lot of speculative fiction writers have been coming on. And so basically, it's a support group. We talk about promoting books. A lot of times they promote their books, they review books, and I would gift them something. So we've done like bookmarkers, and we've done calendars, and then one year we give away books. So this time, since we've all been sitting on our butts, I figured why not do something like physical? And the members were down with doing a meditation and movement class. And I said, oh, is it possible? Because I really don't know that much about the stuff, to like have a class where you can increase the flow of ideas and creativity. And Donna Babs, who's our amazing guest teacher and a member of Pen in the City, she is going to lead the class. So there's going to be some standing up, but mostly it's going to be for us who've been plunked on our chairs for what seems like an eternity. So anyway, and if you have a moment, please subscribe to Radical Books and Politics, because I have a feeling we're going to do more of these self-care kind of things. And also, Donna's also going to post her information on when she teaches classes via Zoom and at McKinley Park in Chicago. So if you're interested in contacting her, she's a phenomenal instructor. She will work with you if you have injuries. She'll help you grow your confidence. And she's just amazing. So welcome, Donna. Let me spotlight you, sweetie, so people can see you.
All right.
I just learned how to do this. I feel all high tech. Like, what? Okay. Oh, like maybe I can spotlight you. What the heck? Whatevs. Go ahead, sister. Hit it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm a former teacher, and now I've moved into teaching yoga. And you could follow me on Facebook at Down Dog Chicago, and downdogchicago@gmail.com is how you can get more info. Just send me an email that way. So we're going to do a little bit of sort of somatic kind of tuning into yourself a little bit and thinking about how that affects you. So just stay seated for right now. You could be on the edge of your chair. So we could all say that, she had us on the edge of our chairs. So just sit there, but, in a way that you're not going to fall off. Let your shoulders be relaxed back and sit up. And we're just going to, do a little check-in here. You could have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels better to you. Check in with your mind. Where are your thoughts? That focus, mental focus.
I'm going to turn off, I'm sorry. This is a bad focus. I got to turn off all these other, wait, is it? Oh, she says she just ate a lot of food. She should come to yoga because she's full bellied. I'll say, come on. Low impact.
It'll be fine because we're not going to be doing a lot of, we're not going to be doing a lot of forward folds or anything that you're going to have an issue. It'll be fine.
Okay, so hopefully she's joining us. I'm just going to turn this off. Yeah, right. See, I've done yoga after, I would eat snacks before I went to my yoga classes because I would come home late, and then the yoga class, I had like 15 minutes to eat, and I never had a stomach problem,
Yeah. So. Yeah, they do say like 2 hours, don't eat 2 hours before. But, I think that's more when you're doing like a very high intensity class or a heated class, then you might not feel really well, but you can just sort of, and, you start feeling a little icky, then hold off and, do it a little differently. All right, so let's try again. We're at our seats. We're sitting up tall, just sort of checking in with our thoughts, mental focus, clarity, sort of thinking, where are your thoughts? And don't worry if they start to, get distracted, because we are a very distractible beings and have lots of distractions now. And how you're feeling in your body, just your sensations. Try to have your feet flat on the floor. Don't have your legs crossed or anything. Just have them flat and maybe sense through the soles of your feet right now. If you're barefoot, that's nice. It's warm enough to be barefoot. You could just really get a sense of the floor underneath your feet, maybe the temperature of it. Is it cool? Is it a carpet, so it's sort of plush? Is it smooth surface, just getting a sense there and sort of grounding yourself a bit. And moving up your legs and to your hips. Make sure you're sitting in a way where you're not sort of like slumped over or folding too much. Just sort of, settle in sort of straight up and down. And bringing your attention more to your chest, start to think about your breath and how it's moving. Letting the inhale come in. And a nice slow exhale out. And trying to do both through the nostrils, because when you exhale through your nostrils, you get that nitric acid in there, or nitric oxide in there to, it's a vasodilator, so it helps your blood flow.
So you breathe in and out through your nose, both? Because a lot of times people breathe in through the nose or not through the mouth.
Well, that is a very common, and when it's really hot, you might like that, but yoga came about in India where it's really hot. And so it's sort of a in through the nose, out through the mouth kind of thing. But that, and that's very cooling. So it's good if it's hot. But in our climate, it's more cool a lot of times. And there's more problems with you just drying out. Your sure. Mouth gets more dried out when you breathe out through your mouth. And you miss that nitric oxide through the nose, that exchange that happens there that helps your body. So if you can, try to do it through the nose, both. Okay. And then maybe check in with your emotions. How are you feeling emotionally? Your energy level. Are you feeling fatigued? Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling sleepy? Just sort of noticing. Checking in with all aspects of yourself. And we're going to sort of do a little practice here that, could be very helpful for writers, because as a writer, you have your characters, or even if it's a poem, you have a sort of tone you're trying to get. So you can sort of use your body to sort of get into that state a little bit. So if you just think about, you can close your eyes if you want, but whatever you're doing with your eyes, raise your eyebrows really high. And you can open your mouth wide. And if you want your body to do a certain thing, like that elicits an emotion, right? Making your body in that shape, we think about the emojis and stuff. There's a reason. Because as soon as your body does this, then your brain's like, wait a minute. And it starts releasing the things that make you have that emotion, that feeling. So you can use your body to sort of do that. So we're going to relax, neutralize ourselves a little bit. And then we're going to bring our eyebrows close together. Maybe bite down on your teeth. You close your lips. What do you feel when you do that? So your eyebrows are down and towards each other. Just notice that sensation and let it go. Relax your face. Maybe you tap around. Just let it release. And then just let your eyebrows widen back out and everything. Close your eyes if you want. Put your lower lip over your upper lip and eyebrows in. And that's your body there. And then just relax again. So we're just doing little things, moving our face, facial expressions and everything to do that. All right. So last one, shake it all out. Raise the corners of your mouth up towards your ears. And any visuals you could think of, just sort of that lift and how that makes you feel. So most likely, even in those just short little things that we did, the emotions started to, like you right away felt something. You felt a little change and a shift and everything. So
I can use that practically. Like say, for example, I'm about to have a murder scene and I want the story from the point of view of the killer. And like if you capture some of that, whatever it is, then that could maybe help with the, not that you're gonna go shoot people, but what I'm saying is like really help
No, but you can
immerse yourself.
physically
Right.
like make your body in the shape, like act out the scene a little bit,
Right.
get into their motivation,
That's so
get
cool
your body into that.
because I visualize it. I'm a very visual person, but that makes total sense, you know? And then shake it out so you don't get stuck into like serial
Right,
killer.
exactly.
Cool. I like that.
So
Thank
it
you.
could be, and like I said, those, I mean, for me, it happens pretty quick. Those emotions like pop right into my head, and I know what this feeling is, So, try not to get stuck in it and everything. But
Sure.
if you like really feeling sort of like, oh, I'm stuck, I can't think of what to say next or whatever, if you sort of put yourself into that sort of that mood, that motivation, that, that physical embodiment of it, that can help.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've been, because we're doing so much on our computers and everything, think about what that's doing. When I say, what does a sad, depressed person look like? What do you do with your body? You curl in, you're like hunched over, and what is the position when we're all on our, on our phones and everything else? We have this like curling in positioning that, helps to like bring everything down. Because if we're constantly telling our body that, then that's where it's going.
I have
And
a
even
standing desk. You're convincing me to use it way more often than I do. You know, that would
and
help that, right? A little bit.
what's that?
You have a standing desk,
Yeah.
higher and not like hunched over. I never thought about that, but I gotta tell you that I feel depressed. I felt more depressed the as the days progressed, and by Thursday I couldn't. I was like, ugh. So I think it's a combination of you don't get the human interaction.
Right.
You're hunched over. Holy
Mhm.
shit! I hadn't thought about that. That's really profound.
Especially as teachers, I mean, I could not believe what I was like when I stopped teaching, because as a teacher, I never sat in my chair. Like I was sitting because then I was in the library then later. So for the length of a short picture book was as long as I was sitting down, basically. So, and then I'd be up walking around and, interacting and doing this.
Right.
When I'm checking out kids at the, their library books, I was standing so I could see what's going on as well as be checking out. So yeah. And then afterwards, just spending so much time sitting in front of TV, Netflixing, not really having anything to do. I was just like my mom, who's 30 years older than me, was saying things and I'd be like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, I am too young to be this old, like this.
Yeah, for sure.
So thankfully, I got into the yoga and I hit it hard because that's the way I am. I know you're that kind of person too.
I am. I gotta be careful. In fact, because the mistake I made when I first started practicing yoga is like I would go every day and twice a day, and I have that. I'm not addicted to substances or alcohol, but I have an addictive personality about things that feel good and give me a creative high. So people are like, how do you publish so many books? I'm like, it's my addiction. Seriously, But it's the same thing with the gym, and that's why, like, I'm about to have a conversation because I do want to get back in shape because again, pounds during this pandemic, and I like to be stretchy again. Yeah. And I told her I'm focusing on core and strength training, and I'm focusing on my eating. But it helps. Like the more energy I have, the more energy I have to edit, to write. I was walking in the park and I started talking to myself. I didn't realize I was talking to myself, and I was like, "Ooh, fuzz." But I was creating a plot in my head. Like I was doing what you're doing. I was laughing. I was experiencing.
Nowadays, you could pretend like you had an earbud in or something and talking to somebody else. People don't look at you as crazy nowadays. Before it used to be like if you were talking to yourself, people would just be like, "What?" Now they just think you're,
I hope so, because it was pretty bad, and I was getting really into the story too, and I was like, "Oh," but that's brilliant. I love that. I'm gonna try that.
All right. Well, that's very good. All right. So, and even like sitting, it's, if you think about, everyone's heard of fight or flight.
Right.
Flight involves running. Running involves being sort of in this kind of position where this part is tight. So when you're sitting, that psoas is tight. You're in a position like you're about to like run away. So that's telling your mind something. It's sort of, you know, you're giving a signal that you got to get away or something.
Running and flee. God, that's crazy. I
So
mean,
if your psoas is constantly tight, you know, not saying like, yeah, I'm resting, you know, you're like, I'm sitting here resting. Is that saying that I'm running? No, it's just, you know, but it's the tenseness of that muscle. It makes it hard to relax.
right.
So that's why, like when we do yoga, the lunges, the warriors and everything, that opens up one side, and then you do the other side and opens up the other side. So, you know, that's just some of the different things that you need to do.
Right.
And also to think, so most of your writing's probably, you know,
Laptop.
laptop.
Yeah, down. Sure, for sure.
It used to be writing, and you know, they say you retain a lot more. There's a big connection between pen and paper, you know. So
I agree, and in fact, I fantasize about going back to handwritten, um, back to handwritten work. And there have been times when that's happened, and the loss of that actually is better. It happened to me one time when I killed the laptop and I had to finish a story, so I was writing most of it by hand.
yeah.
So,
and I don't remember what the writer's name was, but he said he kept his old typewriter because that if he made a mistake or wanted to change something, he had to redo the whole page. And he said, there's so many changes that I made in that process that have made my writing so much better that he just stuck with that. Whereas with a laptop, you copy paste, you do a little thing. I'm old enough to remember writing papers and, using a typewriter and being like, oh my God, I made a third spelling mistake. I'm going to have to start all over again because, 3 will knock my grade off. So I'm just like, so
I remember I used to
read it. I just be like, oh man, please don't find anything wrong.
But really, like, that is one thing, and handwritten is like, you do remember your stories better if you write them by hand.
Yeah. And you could think like, I just doing that for like the brainstorming part or the working something out, and then you could draw
poem or a piece of gravel.
It helps with the creative process.
Yeah. Oh, that is cool. I should try that. And yeah, and I think there may be a resurgence into that just because people are tired of tech and computers. At least the people who've been working this way,
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, what else you
got?
got?
Both, I mean, I had no choice but to take handwritten notes, and then she used to do it, and her friends would look at her like she's crazy. She's like, yeah, but now I remember it. I don't even have to look at it again. I remember it because you have to digest. You probably have better typing where you could like just sort of transcribe and not even be paying attention. Mm-hmm. But when you're writing it down, in order to keep up, you really have to be thinking like, what are the important points that I need to write here? And I used to always draw little diagrams and things, like things like that to help me think about it. So that's something. It's different than writing. It's just about retaining information.
Right. Yeah, that may be why I don't remember my meeting times, because I used to write them in the planner, and when I switched to the phone, I don't remember. I got to look at the calendar.
Yeah. There's a physical connection there. So let's do some movement, because I don't want to run out of time without doing any of that. So just some things that can help if you're sitting in the chair. So again, at the edge of the chair, just rotate your shoulders back a little bit so you're sitting up nice and tall. We'll go ahead and just start by lifting the arms up on your inhale. And you can go straight up or you can go out to the side, and then exhale them down.
Oh, my arms are sore from walking the dog.
So we know there's a big mind-body connection. So if you're thinking my arms are heavy like weights, they're going to go up like this, If you think about, I have 2 feathers, or there's balloons attached to my wrist.
That made a huge difference.
Like think about it like that, sort of like, and also ideally when we inhale and lift up, we want to be inhaling and the arms move as long as the inhale, and then exhale and so you adjust your speed so that your breath and movement will end at the same time. Okay. So just trying that. Inhale it up and exhale it down. Okay. We're going to inhale up. And this time, if you like, bending the elbows sort of to cactus or goalpost, let the chest lift up a little bit. The gaze can come towards the ceiling. Think about the shoulder blades in the back sort of like falling down the ribs a little bit. Maybe think about like you have a pencil and you're trying to squeeze it between those shoulder blades in the back. And then inhale, lift up. Okay, we're going to do an exhale and twist. So just turn to one side.
Out. Sorry. I think she was going to crash into me.
Okay, so just look over your back shoulder. Keep breathing. And now the eyeballs too. Don't just look sort of straight ahead. Look all the way to the corner of the eye. Because that's another thing. We're so like just straight ahead at about 2 feet ahead of us. And that's where our vision is always. So we're gonna have a lot of people wearing glasses if we don't do that. So come on back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, the other side. Let the shoulders be relaxed. Look over the back shoulder, eyes all the way to the corner. And inhale back to forward facing. We'll bring our arms down just for a break. And then that's just something that you could do too is, well, let's do this. Reach our arms out in front and we're gonna keep our gaze forward and we're gonna check our peripheral vision by moving the arms out and stop when you lose them. So it's like at a certain point, you'll be like, oh, don't really see that hand. I gotta move it forward just a smidge so that you just have that and you can wiggle your fingers a little bit just to say, oh, okay, yeah, they're there. I could see it from my peripheral vision. So it's just working that peripheral vision.
Oh, wow, that's hard.
What's that?
That's hard. Oh,
yeah.
The cat's sitting behind me now.
And so the vagus nerve travels from the brain through all the organs and everything. And that's something that comes through here.
Go ahead. Sorry, kids. Go ahead, help yourself. At least
regulating it by, that's why a lot of chanting is done in yoga. It's sort of that vibration helps to regulate the vagal nerves that goes down through here. Humming, so you could just hum to, to a favorite song or whatever, and you're vibrating there, and that helps to regulate. And the vagus nerve is that your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic. So sympathetic is the fight or flight, and it's also freeze. So sometimes, an animal fight, flight, if it can't do either of those, it freezes and pretends it's dead and hopes for the best there. So that's something that we do too. Sometimes, you may like have an urge and then you just sort of freeze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you got to sort of shake out of it. So all of that. Okay. We'll keep going with the movements. Reach your arms up to the sides, shoulder height. Bring your hands in, elbows out. Okay. And then just come up to the side. We're going to let this hand come down to the knee. Look up towards the ceiling on that side. And on inhale, and then exhale, bring that elbow across and down. And then lift up on the inhale. And we'll do that a total of 4 times, so 3 more. After the last one, when you come up, extend the arm out. And then come up to stand or seated. Let's do the other side. Bring it up. Look up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and on the exhale, cross over. And inhale up. And just do that a few more times. After the next time you come up, extend the arm out and come back up to seated. So a little side bending. We want to move our spine in all the directions. We'll bring our arms back out to that open T. Bend the arms, interlace the fingers. We're going to bring it back behind us. Inhale, lifting the chest a little bit, and then exhale, round the back, bring the elbows together, head down towards heart. Inhale, lift up. And just move like this with the breath. We'll just do one more. Inhale, lift up, let the arms come down.
Wires.
All right, we're going to take one arm across the body. The other arm's just going to sort of hold it in space, and you're getting a stretch along the shoulder area. Big inhale and exhale. And actually, while we're holding this, as long as it's comfortable, think about looking straight up. Keep your head where it is and look straight up. Look all the way to the right. Look straight down. Your head is staying still. Look all the way to the left. And look all the way up and straight ahead. Relax the arm. Shake it out. Bring the other arm across and just hold it there. And then we'll do it again. We're going the opposite direction. Look straight up. Look all the way left. Look all the way down. And over to your right. Back up. Straight ahead. And relax it out. For your hands, we're just gonna, for the sort of the wrist area, place the other hand and make sure you're getting your thumb. Some people just do their fingers, but get the thumb in there if you can, and just sort of pressing back. So you're pressing it back, getting that carpal tunnel area opened up. Okay. Breathing. And then switch to the other hand. Getting the thumb in there too. And then hand down, press that way. And the other way, other hand rather. Okay, we'll interlace the fingers once more and just do a little swimmy motion. Moving the arms straight and then bending the elbows, bringing them in. We'll do that 2 times. And then just switch the fingers that are on top and swim out and back again. Bring the palms towards me, straighten the arms, shoulders stay down, lift up nice and tall. Lift up towards your head, over your head. A little side bend one way, up, exhale the other way, inhale back up and let the arms float back down again on the exhale. Relax. Okay. We're gonna bring the fingers out and we're just gonna do one at a time, thumb all the way to pinky, and just notice when you have certain fingers saying, wait, I'm coming too. So your thumb, you could basically do on its own, right? And you could do your pointer, maybe you have a little bit of volunteerism from some of the hands. Middle finger, pretty good. These two, they want to do everything together. And that's because we usually do them together. Oh. So when we do things with our hands, these two are usually working in concert, these last two. And so they're wired together. So they talk about when you fire together, they wire together. That's what we're talking about. If you're always using them together, they want to do everything together. Okay. So just wiggle it out, little wrist action here. So those are all the different things you could do. And you could just try maybe getting that first little joint and then the next one. Let's see if that works. What is that emotion? And just relax, shake it all out. And then I'm gonna move back just a little bit so you can see, here's some things that we can do for the, that psoas that gets tight. So I think I'm going to switch actually to this white chair so you can see better. So I'm gonna take a little time because a lot of people will be looking at this from a recording, so they'll have time to sort of adjust as necessary. So when you do this, you're going to sit on your chair at the edge. You're going to turn to one side. So I have my left thigh on the chair, but my right butt cheek and leg is going to be falling off of it. And you could hold the back of the chair or the front of the chair just to make that happen. Now, for me, my leg fits this chair pretty well. My knee is almost at a 90-degree angle. The foot is flat on the floor. If that's not the case, then you can slip something under your foot. So if you're shorter, you're going to need to put like a block or some, a folded towel or something under your foot, so you can place it on there so that that can happen. If you're tall, you'll have to take a folded blanket or something onto the chair seat so that your knee isn't like up here. Okay, because if you have a very long bottom half of your leg, then your knee might be up too high and you're still going to be too tight. So adjust if necessary. So you're on halfway. Hold on so you don't fall off. You're just going to take the leg that is on the outside hanging and work it back as much as, and it might be just straight down, and that's okay because this is still getting lengthened. So you want that psoas to have some length. If you can, wiggle the foot back a little bit more. So this is basically like a lunge, but you have the support of the chair. And by doing that, you can really get this, the supported thigh down more because it has the support. You're not worried about, falling over or anything. You can really just concentrate on getting a stretch in that front of the hanging hip. All right. So here, maybe just fine, just staying like this. If you want, you can take that arm so my right leg is the one back. So my right arm is what's coming up. And then I have some length there from all the way, that front part of the leg, all the way up towards the arm. This might be enough for you. You could do a little side bend and move your right arm towards the left, stretching even more. And just see how that feels, gets a sensation in there. Coming back up, I can even do a twist. Twisting around, I can take my right hand to grab to the back of the chair and face that back of the chair and see how that feels. And these are all moves that now I don't have to worry about balance. I can just concentrate on the move, the sensations in that lower half of my body. And then go ahead, bring yourself back, bring that in. We'll just switch around to the other side. And again, hang that left leg off now. The right leg is nice and steady. The foot is flat. The leg is, nice and supported. And then just push it back as much as feels okay to you. Stay there. Hold on to the back of the chair for support if you want. You can even just hold on the base of the chair or lift up. You lift both arms if that feels okay to you. So you're in a lunge, but you're in a supported lunge. And this is something you could sort of do, nonchalantly if you're in an office. Yes, I'm just turning to look at somebody. So whatever you want to do, any of those motions, that little side bend to the side, turning to the back of the chair, just exploring that motion and feeling how it affects that area. And then you'll just come back forward. So we'll come to the edge of the chair and we could do a little bit more here while we're here. Feet a little bit wide, sitting on the edge, but not so that you would fall off. We're just going to go ahead and slide down the right leg. Your hand can rest on the left hip. Keep that left shoulder opening. And then if you want, you can lift up towards the ceiling if that feels okay to you.
My cat is so desperate for pets. For some reason, she's just like rubbing up against my hand.
What are you doing? Oh, you're coming down to me.
Exactly. She's like, oh.
And you can adjust, notice where your arm wants to be and see if it's too far, try not to be too far back, just adjust, find a spot that feels like it's opening, but not, like throwing anything out of whack. You want to find a good spot for you. Your gaze can be straight ahead towards the floor or towards the ceiling. And notice how that feels on your neck. And then slowly slide back up. Take a breath and center just to sort of center yourself, and then slide down the left leg and do it to that side. Chest is open, gaze may be up or down. Reach the arm high if you like, but it's not necessary. Having it just on the hip is fine. Or you might want to reach to the back of the chair. Maybe that works for you. So experimenting, seeing what works, what gives you some, this is a little bit of a twist. And lift up and come back. And so this is sort of they call it horse or goddess squat or temple squat. So this is a position. And it's sort of nice to sort of practice in the chair sometimes, because then you don't have to worry about your balance, and you can make sure that the knees and the toes are going in the same direction, which is protective of the knees. Because sometimes when you're standing, people's knees are like, they're falling in, and they're, it's very unstable looking pose. So this way, if you get down sort of low, open up your legs as wide as feels comfortable and get in that spot and get that body memory, get the feeling of it when you're not off the chair and having to do it, like on your own. Okay. Nice. All right. We'll go ahead and bring the feet in and just take a moment. I'm going to come closer again. And we'll end with a little mindfulness. So we moved a little bit, we talked a little bit. We're going to take a moment to sort of sense our breath a little. Okay, so I want you to constrict your hand. So make a fist with your hand and then take a deep breath in and out. And notice the breath. And then relax the hand completely and take a deep breath. Did you feel a difference between those?
Oh, for sure.
So it doesn't matter where the tightness is, where the constriction is, whether you're doing it on purpose or not. If you're tense somewhere, it's going to affect the breath. Mm. So it's really important to sort of let that parasympathetic nervous system kick in. And that's the rest and digest. So it's rest and restorative. It's when it's the time when your body can repair. So when you're doing these things, when you're writing or doing something where you want to retain this information or think clearly, work for a little bit and then take a breath. Literally take a breath, sit there and tune into the breath, let your body settle out, let it sort of come back down so that you can think more clearly, so that you can put those things that you've just learned away in your head and retrieve them, because, if I just start throwing everything into a room and now I got to figure out where that thing is that I need, it's going to take me forever. Right. But if it's done in a way where everything's done orderly, I'm like, oh, go to the, second drawer over on the right. And I know exactly where it is. Sure. So the same thing for thoughts. That's why we're so forgetful, because we don't put things away mindfully. We just sort of, sort of haphazardly do it. And then we can't remember what we were thinking of, All right. So breath.
A lot really fast these days. But so would you recommend, I think you won me over to the idea of writing standing up and maybe doing some handwritten, whether it's a poem or a short piece at the beginning of a chapter, because I never thought about how sitting can have I know it's unhealthy, but I never thought about that running position, because you're right. You are tense. My lower back is constantly and especially if it's something emotional, forget it, it makes it double worse, Yeah. So I really appreciated this workshop, Donna. I know our members will enjoy it too. Maybe next time they'll show up. It's beautiful experience. Beautiful.
Thank you. Do we have a couple minutes where we could just do the?
We do. I would love to do
Okay.
meditation or just maybe talk us through. We got time.
Okay, so sitting, and depending on where you are, you may or may not feel comfortable closing your eyes, but if you can, just closing your eyes and sort of focusing in, and just notice the coolness of the breath as it comes in. Filling the lungs, feel the expansion in your chest. Your diaphragm is right there at the low rib cage, and it bows down a little bit to make room for the filled lung. And as you exhale, it pushes back up to help to get that air back out because there's no muscles in the lungs. So inhale and exhale. And if you want, you can even place your hands like on that low rib cage there and just feel that expansion and contraction. You can even put like a little belt or something around if that helps you to sort of be mindful of the breath. And really slow down. So to get to that parasympathetic nervous system, it's slow exhales, longer than the inhale. So lengthening the exhale helps to slow things down. And another thing I want you to just do is staying right where you are. Focus your attention forward as you breathe. And then just staying still where you're at. Focus your attention behind you as you breathe. And then bring the attention to your left. Notice if you feel like the left side more inflated, and to the right. Attention above you, breathing up. And then attention below you, breathing down. If you want, you can place your hands on your heart. You can have a prayer position or just resting on your heart. Feel the weight of them. Picture your heart inside your chest, beating. And picture it almost like a buoy on the ocean of your breath. The lungs making it bob up and down. May peace infuse you and pass to those you meet. I thank you so much for joining me.
Namaste.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. And we're going to drop again the links for Donna's classes. She's super awesome. If you want to like work with her on a payment plan, she'd be happy to help you. It's worth a point. And also her Facebook and other ways you can get a hold of her. We'll put that in the comments. But thanks for watching. And this was the 400 celebration of Pen in the City. So we're almost to 500. We're going to have to do something else. Maybe we'll do like karaoke or something, you know.
You moved way past that 400.
Right? Thank you, Donna. This was awesome. And I think they'll enjoy it. Have a fun day. I'm going to stop recording.